What is going on, everyone? It's Ultimate Spy 53 here, and welcome back to reacting to bad reviews on good movies. This will be episode 8, and in this one, although it's going to be a long one, it's going to be bad reviews on the Lord of the Rings Trilogy. Now, a lot of the ones I found were long. I mean, they were long. I couldn't believe it. They were very, very long, so this could take me 20 minutes to get through this, or half an hour. I have no idea. So let's go ahead and start with Fellowship of the Ring and see what the bad reviews are. Okay, so the first one here obviously is several paragraphs long, so let's get through it. I know you will hate me for saying this, but I really, really did not like this movie. Saying this when almost all the other reviews are well-written explanations of why this movie deserves 5 stars is very difficult indeed. Nevertheless, after seeing this movie, I felt very disappointed. I am a fan of both fantasy and science fiction, and I read and enjoyed to some extent one of the books in the Lord of the Rings series. So it's not to say I just dislike fantasy sci-fi. The reason I dislike this movie is that when I saw it in the theaters, I almost fell asleep. Wow, okay then. There was no dramatic tension at all, although I have to admit that opening sequences was very good. And the special effects and scenery were great. I could claim that the filmmakers got totally carried away with special effects. Once the Hobbit and company started fighting computer-generated monsters, I grew less and less interested until I was at the point of walking out of the theater. I mean, I think it's fighting in movies, especially fighting with well-done special effects, but enough is enough. After a point, there is no more excitement, and it becomes monotonous and dull. Honestly, the sad thing about movies today is that the reliance on special effects has led to the decline in the quality of the other aspects of the film, such as dialogue, creativity, etc., etc. In my opinion, there is nothing interesting in watching hours of computer-generated fighting scenes. Come on, where is the excitement in that? In addition to the excessive fighting, I feel that this movie was badly acted. No. In one scene, there was a close-up of the Hobbit's face on the Hobbit's face after somebody was killed. The fact that I don't remember how much I really care about that again at that point, and the whole theater began laughing out loud. I don't think this was the desired effect somehow. The Lord of the Rings actually had a lot of great acting. Anyhow, this is only my personal opinion. After viewing the movie, I felt that it was very bad. It was very bad due to the excessive fighting and excessive lack of creative dialogue, character development, etc., etc., and poor acting. No, the acting is so good. Hollywood needs to go back to watching some classic movies which do not use any special effects, because it seems the filmmakers have lost the ability to entertain audiences without doses of special effects. You have to have special effects. You just have to. It's the only way to make a movie. And even worse, as provided by this movie, sometimes even special effects cannot make a dull movie interesting. Oh man. Okay, this one is even longer. The ones I found on Amazon of the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring reviews, they are long. I mean, most of them are just insanely long. So, someone needs to be smacked. Would you add soul lines to Jackson Pollock? Would you add a movement to Beethoven's Ninth? How about putting a block of lard into your grandmother's special spaghetti sauce? Of course not. The Lord of the Rings, The Fellowship of the Ring, has been slumped all over by the movie's maker. When I read this movie, I felt expected that a few items in the back story might be simplified because of time. I never expected that the screenwriter would leave out entire characters and storylines, fail entirely to develop characterization for the main characters, neglect fully some of the most important aspects of the story, and make things up out of cold cloth. It's unthinkable, unconscious. To introduce a few of the problems of this movie, Tom Bombadil is left out entirely, along with the entire storyline surrounding him. Well, I can understand that he was left out of the movie. That was unfortunate. I mean, he's in the game, but that's about it. I can understand that. But it looks like he's 15 instead of 50. Well, he's not supposed to be 50, is he? He's supposed to be. He's supposed to be young. You know, that's the way Hobbit's age. They looked like they were young, and all that stuff, but they were really older. Saruman is made to seem as if he has gone over to the dark side entirely and is taking orders directly from Sauron. Well, yeah, that's the point, right? The Palantir is brought out in an entirely false manner. Palantir, I have no idea what that means. Instead of Frodo sneaking off with Sam at the end, Aragorn gives his blessing for Frodo to go. Wait, what? I don't understand that. It makes no sense at all. The story behaves as if Aragorn has neglected his throne rather than is waiting for the appropriate time to take it. Well, Boromir does go crazy for the ring as in the story. The movie feels fully fails to develop what he wants to bring because of his people failing in Gondor. Okay. The movie also fails to develop that Boromir's father is the head of Gondor, holding the place that Aragorn should take as king. He's actually the steward, actually, so it's not really the same thing. He's not sitting in the king's chair, so that's not the same. The movie fails to develop what species is what and where, when they have come from, and why they matter. Yeah, they do. Elves, man, dwarves, orcs, all kinds of people. Kate Blanchett has a missus playing Galadriel. She was actually the best part of that. She was amazing as Galadriel. She was like the best. She was so amazing in that role. I couldn't see another person playing that. The hobbits keep changing sizes. Well, because no, they're small. They're meant to be small. I don't see the logic of that. It says in the movie Sam doesn't swing back to the coastline and interpret Frodo as he does in the book. Instead, they make up that Sam goes out into the water after Frodo and nearly drowns, necessitating Frodo pulling him out of the water. Okay, so many things are made up out of whole cloth. Perhaps the filmmaker thought that he was allowed to butcher this classic because he had the technology to make an attractive movie and great effects. He didn't. This movie is a wholly wasted opportunity to create a masterpiece of the movie. I'm glad that I rented it and didn't buy it, as I did and almost did. I do not want any more of my money going to support this shovel project. I wouldn't even give it 1 star. Oh my god, it was so good though. Okay, this is a bit shorter. Horrid. This movie is awful. Let me set up. Walk, fight, long conversation, repeat. It seems like it will never end. There are wizards in it, but they don't use their magic for cool things. They stand there looking constipated. There's no ending. Yeah, it does. It has an ending. Yeah, Frodo and Sam go off to the mountains and to burn the ring. That's pretty much their quest. The credits take forever to roll, as exciting as a glass of water. The credits are actually quite nice. I really would agree with that. What's up with all the hype? I seriously do not see what the hype about this movie is. It is horrible. When I say that at the movies, I had to leave within the first hour. It's that bad. And what's with the time in this movie lasts? 3 hours. Movies like this are not supposed to last 3 hours. It's okay for biography movies and stuff like that to last 3 hours. But this type of movies, it's ridiculous. This movie is very boring. One, it's not boring. It's so much awesomeness. There's not one even understanding moment about this movie. Do not see it. It does nothing for you to except take away 3 hours of your life. Peace out. Well, that's an opinion, but I don't agree with it. Goodness gracious. Okay, so here's one for the 2 towers. So these are the ones I'm reading right now are very long. So bear with me. Turn it off. I was very disappointed with the film for the following reasons. 1, it was very confusing and scenes chopped from one to the next with no connection or continuity. 2, poor to no character development. Oh, come on. 3, over-emphasis on extravagant makeup, costumes, and computer-generated images, and under-emphasis on basic acting skills to deliver a good story. 4, Gollum would never have been much more enjoyable to play by a human. It's not Gollum, it's Gollum. You gotta check your spelling there. The computer-generated images were just awful. In short, a great story that was destroyed by this film. Thank goodness I read the book before I saw the movie. It turned off about a quarter in due to boredom. Wow. So people think the CGI was that bad, huh? The CGI was better than The Hobbit in this case. It's way better. Trust me, it's way better. Okay, this is a very long one. What's all the fuss? When I first saw this, I didn't like it. I didn't much like it. So I went back and viewed it again, just to be sure. I was right. It's overlong, overwritten, dark, and pointless. The first Lord of the Rings, Fellowship, I like better. The characters were fresh. The scene were bright and varied. The plot silly but negligible. Here, things are almost all dark. Perhaps this is thematic. The journey has reached its nadir, but the unrevealed gloom goes on too long, and the characters, though unusual, Gollum and then are tedious. Even worse is the writing. When Sam is also ponderously speculates on whether he and Frodo will ever be remembered or written about, I can hear Peter Jackson and even J.R. Tolkien laughing up the baggy medieval sleeves. This kind of self-referential and joke may appeal to fanatics, but to me, it is just pointless preening. The problem is for me, and it gets worse in the other movie, The Return, is the silliness of the plot. How here dragged out to torrid length. Astro battles, scene one, scene all. Guys, always guys, hacking each other to bits. fine for 14-year-old or 7-year-old males. I'm sure digitally Bush would like it. For adults, it's a snoozer. A lavish copious epic bore. Wow. It's boring, huh? I disagree. Okay, another long one. I just don't understand. I remember reading the Tolkien books about 25 years ago, and I recall at the time I found them very interesting, very entertaining. So why do I find both movie editions so boring? True, it's been 25 years or so since I read the books, and I'm sure my tastes have changed, but I don't remember the books being mostly about war. I don't remember trying to figure out how much Frodo could one minute be following Gollum, and the next Gollum is nowhere in sight. My suspicion is that the makers of the film are too caught up on the computer-generated stuff and have forgotten that what makes a good movie is a good story. Gollum is pretty good, but he does look like he could be the close cousin of Tommy from the house out of Harry Potter. Okay, that's just unnecessary. They don't look anything alike at all. I mean, they're both creatures, yeah, but they don't look anything alike. The rest of the special effects seem unbelievable. The marching hordes have no reason and appeared fuzzy to me. What? That was really good, though. The battle stickers have the same problem. The figures of the non-humans always seem to be moving just a little too fast for the camera to catch the details. I have further explanation for that the director was so interested in his special effects that he forgot to try and get decent performance out of the actors and actresses involved in the theater or to care about totally lame dialogue. Oh my god. And by the end of the movie, I thought if Sam said Mr. Frodo one more time, I would scream. The filmmakers are so interested in showing us zillions of species so much on what's left of civilization that they forget to deliver a coherent plot. They are so interested in making empty computer-generated tree people that they've forgotten that not everyone has read the book and within the last 3 months, and it would be nice if they develop the people and the plot well enough for those of us who are not immersed in the ring culture to be able to follow and perhaps enjoy the movie. Well, to be honest, most of the characters in the movie were, practical effects. There were hardly any CGI in this. I mean, they only used CGI when they had to. So, like for example, Treebeard, he was mainly like his close-ups were all practical effects, or with a tad bit of CGI added to it. But and of course, when the long actors had to have CGI, but they used CGI very rarely. They used it very sparingly. So they weren't relying on it. They used it when they absolutely had to. So I disagree with that. How can so many people like this? Because it's amazing, it's beautiful, it's fantastic, it's phenomenal. Come on. In the Fellowship, when PJ and Co. PJ? What? I have no idea what that person is talking about. When PJ and Co. changed things to... Oh, Peter Jackson, right. I've heard that as a character. Changed things to be different from the way that Tolkien wrote the story, and at least it made sense in the context of the movie. In the Two Towers, all the deviations from the book are not only stupid but pointless. From the Aragorn fighting with wargs and falling off cliffs to the Ents, the oldest and weird and wisest race in Middle Earth, getting outsmarted and going all the way out of character by making a decision and changing their minds to the ridiculous comic relief of Gimli, and not even mentioning how they butchered Faramir. These changes only serve to hurt the story, even when they follow along with the storyline. All Tolkien's magic is ripped away from but the complete lack of subtlety. Theoden wasn't possessed by Saruman, and by making him so, it robbed so much from what is otherwise a beautiful story. I'm sorry, but after the recent job they did on Fellowship, I can't help but be enormously disappointed with the Hollywood that I saw in the Two Towers, and surprised by how many people think this was actually a good movie. It was a really good movie. It was phenomenal. It says how easy it is for Hollywood to talk about people of artistic integrity for the sake of maximizing profits. It's like George Lucas and Peter Jackson get together about Gimli and George's characters at the same time. Sigh. This is horrible. This is not true though. It's not true at all. Snooze. Oh, this is pretty short. The film is so nothing. The only time it's interesting is when Gollum is on screen. The rest sucks. Stephen Hollywood cheese jokes about dwarf tossing and skating a rail with a shield, embarrassing, lifeless story and performances. Bar Gollum. Works of the trilogy. Give me a crawl any day. Oh my goodness. Wow. Oh my goodness, why am I doing this to myself? I keep doing what the hell? Okay, so all these reviews are pretty long anyway. Travesty. If you knew anything goes in the series, it is a great way to kill time on a day when all you can do is sit on bed and watch movies. So all the shows in the theater originally. You can see I've seen the series many times now. Decided to rewatch all three after I viewed The Hobbit, which I was light, but you bet yours better than this. No, The Hobbit was actually worse than Lord of the Rings. I mean, The Hobbit was not all bad, but there was so much that Jackson kind of fun with it that it turned out to be, less than what we expected it to be. That's why The Hobbit is not as good as the Lord of the Rings. That's why. So you can't compare. You can't say how it's better. Good sets are nicely done. It's pretty to see. Gimli is Gimli as comedy relief is okay. Aelin is cute and did I say the scenery is not very nice. Bad. I personally do not see how any of us supposed fans can rave over this fiasco. Destroyed for the books and ruined what I consider one of the best fantasy tales written. Not at all, but most of the actors stink. Think you're talking about Gandalf. He was so good. Elijah Wood was terrible. No, he was so good. But did the actors, or for that matter, the director even read the series at some point? I think all of them actually did. Look, I don't want to rant completely over the butchery of the proper tale, yet there was no real story here. All the depth and nobility of the characters was horrid. I can truly understand the necessity of cutting aspects out for time, but the director really blew it with what he chose to keep and prevent. Should you watch it? Sure, but buy it, why not? But to cross the accolades on this junk as marvelous, fantastic, and true to the story, amazing performance is complete hogwash. My 1 star is for the butchery unequaled since the Dune junk put out. Don't be yourself read the books, or at least you'll have some imagery to go along with it. Oh my goodness! Wow, really? It was okay. The from Rudy was okay, but if he had the ring, he wouldn't need 3 movies to smelt the ring in a volcano. Wouldn't be more interested. Would have been more interesting if Captain Jack Sparrow made an appearance. I guess the girl from the Aerosmith video was cool. What? I have no idea what that is or who that is. Better if she was naked, but I guess it was okay because it was PG. Dumbledore sucked. It's not Dumbledore. It's Gandalf. Merry and Pippin. I should have rented Mary Poppins. Next time I'll rent The Hobbit to waste time. I love this movie. You love this movie even though you're saying all these people sucked. Wow. Okay. Worst movie of the year. I dare to differ. I cannot believe that this movie won so many awards. There's a good reason for it. Past the 5 endings, the same freaking battle scenes, and some elephants in New England or New Zealand or wherever it takes places in the world. It was still horrible. By the way, Lord of the Rings freaks, there's no Middle Earth. We find Frodo the wimp on the way to the volcano with his wimpy friend Sam and their psychic golem. We also find Aragorn. I hate him, and the only okay character Legolas and Gimli. We then go into the stupid, never-ending battles where Legolas jumps on an elephant and kills it. These battles seem all the same: chaos and untrained or prepared soldiers. The fact that the Fab Three can be killed after 10 battles when they are outnumbered 1,000 to 1. I'm running out of time, so let's say this: how the hell does a 4-hour movie win Best Editing? Because it does. Because it's amazing. Crap. I saw this movie last November at the theater with one of my friends because he couldn't find anyone else to go see The Return of the King with him. Boy, did I make a mistake. Clocking in about 3.5 hours, The Return of the King bored the crap out of me. It's one of the movies that may have been okay when I was about 80 minutes long. The only good part was when Elijah's character got his finger bitten off by the fat creature. At the end, it looked like some gay love story. When Tanniston and Elijah would together at the end, it looked like they were going to kiss each other or something. Come on, why does everyone think this garbage is good? Overrated. Because it's amazing. It's wonderfully put. I just love Lord of the Rings. It's one of my favorites ever. So let's talk about the stupid movies. I don't know why everyone loves these movies. There's a bunch of stupid gothic ghosts and goblins. It's the oldest premise for a movie ever. I hate these movies. They're so overrated. It's boggling my mind. I'd rather have both my arms off and beat with them unmercifully than have to watch another one of these movies. Wow. Okay, well that is gonna do for this reacting for the Lord of the Rings trilogy. But some of them were crazy. I mean, I just can't believe it. People have have a big opinion about these, and I really can't believe that people think these are bad. They're really good. I mean, I only look at these because I want to see what people think about every movie, because I feel like every single movie is gonna have bad reviews. Doesn't matter what they are. But like, seriously, I feel like it makes me feel like every movie trilogy that I looked at reviews for, they're all gonna be terrible. I mean, it really means that everyone just hates movies in general. Just in general, they hate movies. So, but it's still very funny to see that some of the songs. Some of them aren't really funny. They're just like really bashing the movie, just saying how horrible it is, even though it's not terrible. Because Lord of the Rings is one of my favorite trilogies of all time. I could watch it not over and over again, but I could watch it once once a day, and then next week I'd watch it again. I wouldn't want to watch the entire trilogy all at once. Just like, maybe one a day, and then the next week watch another day. Because that could be easy to watch. I could be able to watch it and really enjoy it. But if I was to do it, one after another, I would be really. I would get boring, and also just kind of like, forever. I mean, they're all boring. It's only really boring if you watch them one after another. They're very long. That's all I can say. But I mean, think of Peter Jackson. The only reason the movies are long is because he edits them, and that's the way it is. But still, I just agree with these guys. They're pretty well wrong. They're not entirely wrong, but I definitely don't agree with them. But yeah, anyway, I'm gonna leave this episode here. Very interesting. I think it's pretty. I don't know. It's interesting to see people's opinions about those movies, and it surprised me that even this trilogy got the hate. But still, yeah, I find it funny. Some of the comments can be really funny though. I mean, that's the purpose of the show isn't for finding funny comments. I mean, it's one of the purposes of the show, but it isn't the purpose of the show. It's finding things funny. But like I think finding as many things as funny as I can are better than nothing. So, but yeah, still, I really enjoyed that. That was pretty funny. Just seeing what people have to say, because Lord of the Rings was one of the greatest trilogies ever made. So yeah, I mean, I loved it why did I love it? Because it was amazing. So yeah. Anyway, yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching this episode of Reacting to Bad Reviews on Good Movies. I hope you enjoyed it. If you did, please hit the like button. I really do appreciate your support. And if you're new to this channel, subscribe for more episodes of this series and other series I do, as well as great content. And I'll be back next time with another episode. Alright? See ya.